Hello and thank you for watching this regional forecast for the Northeast. I'm Andrew Pritchard, Senior Meteorologist with Nutrien Ag Solutions. So you look at the satellite picture here on Friday morning, the sun just coming up over the eastern horizon. We've got clusters of thunderstorms across the central U.S., anywhere from the Oklahoma and Texas panhandle on through parts of Missouri and Iowa, and we can see those when we flip it over and look at the radar. And again, showers continuing with that cutoff low across parts of the mid-Atlantic, even a few showers making their way into western Pennsylvania early this Friday morning as well. A lot of the shower and thunderstorm activity off to the west along a frontal boundary, cold front extending from the Canadian Prairie down through parts of Minnesota, Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas, and on into New Mexico. And we'll see that slowly making its way off to the east as we head deeper into the weekend. And that's going to be good news for a lot of areas here as we kind of check in with the U.S. Drought Monitor updated several days ago. And again, starting to see some low-end drought popping up even across parts of the Northeast, especially the northern half here, whereas we overlay the soil moisture change here over the last 3 weeks, going back to the end of May here. The highest drought on the Drought Monitor, the most severe drought, back toward the west across parts of Colorado, Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas into the Intermountain West. But as we look at the areas that have been the driest or seen the highest change in soil moisture over the last 3 weeks, again, some of that just off to the east here across parts of the eastern Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas. But then look off across the eastern Corn Belt and the Northeast. A lot of areas here on the dry side as we go back to the beginning of June here. And so it's going to be good news that some of these areas likely going to be seeing precipitation making its way back in. We're looking at the next 10 days of precipitation here in an anomaly form here from the European model and the GFS. And you're going to notice a difference here as you hone in on the Northeast, with the European model keeping the moisture off to the south a bit, the GFS bringing it a little bit further north. So some discrepancies here as we head deeper into the forecast period. The forecast from the National Weather Service, just the direct precipitation forecast, again the highest where we could see 2 to 4 inches of rain here across the Central Plains into the mid and upper Mississippi Valley. A little more scattered in nature across the Northeast here, where some areas could end up with a few tenths, other areas maybe getting an inch or more of precipitation. And as we look at the European Ensemble forecast, this is the probability of an inch or more of precipitation accumulating between now and next Friday, June 26th. And as you look at things here across the Northeast, highest as you go back towards the south and the west, better than 70% chance of an inch or more of rain over the next week across much of Pennsylvania and western and southern New York. But as you get further north, areas that have been the driest, New Hampshire, Vermont, Maine, coastal portions of Massachusetts here, a little bit lower on the probability there. That's where we're probably going to be seeing things more around a few tenths of an inch between now and the end of the week. The reason for the change here, we're going from a pattern that featured a trough across the Pacific Northwest and then a ridge across the midsection of the country that allowed a big period of dryness across the midsection of the country. Well, that trough that was located back across the Pacific Northwest has now made its way into the Canadian Prairie and will continue to make its way over here towards kind of elongated here from the Hudson Bay across the Ontario and the Great Lakes. Let's take the drawings off and I'll just show you what I mean here. As we head into the early part of next week, this kind of sets up something like this, to where we've got an extended period of northwest flow across the midsection of the country. That's the reason we're a little more active here across the central U.S. We start tapping into the Gulf of Mexico. Embedded within this flow, though, the thing we look for as we get into the summer is jet stream flow. Typically, when we see these periods of dryness, it's because the jet stream winds are well off to the north, and that is where the highest thunderstorm chance is going to be. The stronger upper winds lead to rising motion and the sustained thunderstorms. So we bring that flow across the central U.S. through the Great Lakes and into the Northeast. That's going to be peppered with short waves, little ripples within that flow that could each kick off rounds of showers and storms. And again, tapping into the Gulf of Mexico as we just look at the precipitable water forecast here across the midsection of the country. No longer, are we shoving dry air in across the Northeast. No, we'll be tapping into the Gulf of Mexico, and again, that jet stream flow across the region. Each one of those little systems will bring the chance for scattered storms. So as we look just at the weekend from the high-resolution NAM model, we're talking about mostly afternoon thunderstorms across the region, pop-up storms across the Northeast, so not really looking for any focused areas of severe storms or heavy precipitation, kind of just looking at those hot, humid summer storms popping up during the afternoon hours. And so as we look at total precipitation between now and midday Sunday, going to be smattered, scattered, isolated, peppered, however you want to call it here. Very disorganized. Some areas totally dry, some getting a few tenths of an inch of rain here, and maybe some picking up a quick inch with one of the heavier thunderstorms kind of parking over the area. But those heavier totals between now and Sunday are going to be the minority as we look at mostly isolated thunderstorms popping up during the afternoon hours. The chance for more organized storms increases as we head deeper into the end of the weekend and early next week. We'll take this into Sunday now, watching a frontal boundary pushing across the region. Again, looking at those afternoon thunderstorms popping up Monday afternoon. We get into Tuesday, we see the same thing. Tuesday looks like maybe an organized frontal boundary actually pushing across the area, so maybe a slightly higher. Here's that frontal boundary, chance for some organized severe storms moving across the region on Tuesday. But then we just kind of keep this thing going, where each day we've got the chance for showers and storms as we head into the middle part of the week. Temperature is going to be warming, again, as we kind of cool things down across the midsection of the country on account of those thunderstorm clusters. We're going to kind of shift the warmth off to the northeast. So let's take the drawings off and look at the temperature trends as we head into the week. Again, looking at a lot of hot and muggy conditions across the northeast until we get at least into the mid to late part of the week, perhaps cooling down just a bit. So we'll look at high temperatures here over the next several days then as we just kind of wrap things up. 80s and 90s off to the north Friday for the highs today. A little bit cooler off to the south where we see more cloud cover, mid to upper 70s across southern Pennsylvania down into Maryland. Almost a carbon copy for the day on Saturday. Sunday we start warming up across more of the northeast, trending toward more widespread warmth as we get into early next week, Monday and Tuesday. 80s and 90s once again widespread across the region.